Hello, Ian here from Dark Blades Workshop. Welcome back to another video. This one we're doing the base for Hagrid and Harry on a motorbike. Right, so this one is about the base. It's all about the base. Cue the song. For Harry and Hagrid on a motorbike. I didn't like what it came on, so I did a custom base for it, and this is the video that shows you how I went about it. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I wanted to do something different for the base for Hagrid's bike. Looking at the box, he's on top of a little tower thing, and that looks like it's from the top of a wider tower, like as you get to the top of a building. So I was thinking, right, let's do a structure to go underneath this, and then it'll lift the miniature that much more off the base to look like it is flying instead of just hovering. So I'm going to build a square tower. The sides are 5 centimeters for two sides and then 4 centimeters for the other sides, because it's 5mm thick, so half a mil either side of 4 makes 5, so should have a perfect square of 5 centimeters. Now I was going to use these windows, but that would mean that I'd have to have a lot taller tower, so I only want it about 5 centimeters. So Dan, you don't know it yet, but I'm nicking these windows off you, and I will replace them before I send them out to Australia. These are going to be perfect, so we'll use them. So we only have to go 5 centimeters that way, 5 centimeters across, so it should be perfect square. Should. So the plan is to cut these up, which I've done here, and we'll start gluing them together with some PVA and some pins. Okay, so we've got a couple of walls ready. I've put the pins in here. I just need to make holes in the receiving wall. And we got some glue. We'll run it along this edge when I get it flowing. There we go. If you've seen any other videos, you'll know I like this canopy glue. It's a fast drying PVA. It's marvellous. Okay, so I'm going to lay it flat. And just push the pins into place. And hopefully we'll have a 90-degree angle there. But what you can do is get a spare block and just hold it there for a bit while it sets a little bit. Don't have to keep it there forever. And I'll just wait for that side to dry, and then we'll glue the other side. So luckily I had an old 40mm square base handy, and that's perfect for making sure that we've got everything square. So I'll leave that at the bottom while it's drying. But whilst looking for this, I also found a 50mm square, so that's going to sit perfectly on the top. So the plan was to put that on the top there, but I was thinking maybe if I used a round base, or maybe even a 30mm base, so it raises it all up again. So you'll be looking at something like that kind of structure, but there's the window in place as well. Don't know, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got all 4 sides done now, just waiting for that to dry, and it will take some gap filling with an extra layer of the stippling, but we'll get there. What I'm going to do now is stack them and glue them into place. So I've got 4 layers now. So I've got a custom bit of MDF cut off. The 50mm base, the 40mm base and the 25mm base. And I've sawn off the round base that this was on, so it's square and it's more aesthetically pleasing to sit on top of that lot. So this one is wider than the actual tower. Just trying to do a quick mock-up. I don't want to handle it too much because it's still a bit wet. So I'll grab it by the windows. So I'll give you a rough idea of what it's going to be like. So the plan is to keep that one separate, and we'll glue this one into place, and we'll go out and prime both bits separately. It's only because I want to do weathering from underneath this overhang, and it'll be hard to get your brush up under there, so it'll be easier just to keep it like that for now, do the streaks and then glue this one on top then afterwards. So this part, if you haven't got the model, this part marries up with this bit here, so the bike actually sits on top of the pillar. So it'd be good to keep this part rather than say a plastic clear plastic fly-in base, so that's the decision I went with, and you can angle it slightly as well. So I'll come back at the next stage when everything is glued into position and primed. So see you in a bit. Okay, so it's primed, ready to go. So I've got cement grey. Just going to give it a quick coat, see what it looks like. My plan is to go a bit lighter. Just do the bottom half as well. I'll probably do 2 coats. So next up is cement grey with white grey, and it's a 50-50 mix. And what I'm going to do, I'm trying to get a transition so it's lighter towards the bottom of the building or the tower. Because there's an overhang on the top part, you know, obviously up here is going to be in shadow. So it's about the bottom 3/4 we're doing. Second pass now. And for this one, I'll just be doing it from above. Okay. So this layer is mostly white grey, so it's about 6 drops of white grey and 2 drops of cement grey, and again just using it from above towards the bottom of this part. I probably put way too much paint in the cup, but no worries. So I'm doing about the bottom half of the tower, not so much in the windows. We'll do a couple of passes and we'll come back to the next stage. So I did the 2 passes, but now I'm doing a third one, and I'm just doing it on the diagonal of the steps. So starting at this bit and moving out the way, I'm doing just a line, basically, a thick line, I should say. Just try and make it look a bit more interesting. And again at the bottom on the lattice bit. The reason I'm highlighting the bottom is because it's, you know, a relatively big piece and it's sat on top of that part. Everything initially is going to be in shadow, so that's what we're going to go with. Right, the next stage is pure white. Okay, so I decided to go with off-white instead of pure white, and I'm just going to do about the bottom, well, just not higher than the bottom of the windows anyway. Okay. So for this one, we're going to just do the diagonals again. That's just from above as well, no working it at an angle at all, because I don't want it on the sides that are showing, even though it does show a little bit, but you haven't got anything in between, you just got it at the corners now. Which is better than having it just all the same colour. Alright, last one. And down the bottom of the lattice now. Okay. While I had the airbrush out, where's the owl? I had Hedwig a minute ago. I don't know where he's gone. I base coated that with pale blue grey, and I was going to give him a blast with this from. Alright, let's pause it and have a look, see if I can find him. He's probably flown off somewhere, hasn't he? So that gives you a rough idea of what we've got now. Once I apply some weather into it, should look pretty good. So fingers crossed. We'll come back to that stage in a minute. So looking at it, I decided to put some more shadows underneath this part here, because you can see if the light was from above, you get a lot more shadow there. So that's what we'll do. So maybe a line, not starting from the top, but about a second step down and coming towards the edge there, just to give contrast to the both corners. So a little bit in the middle there, a little bit up here, and then the top of the wall section as well. So for that, I went back to the cement grey, and I just checked what a little bit of black would do when you added it to it, and it's given it half decent shade. So I'm going to go for it with that. Okay. Okay, so a nice bit of contrast there now, so I'm quite happy with that. I need another pass on this one, I think. Might add a little bit more black to it as well. Just adding inside the windows as well. So just a bit of shadow. I'll probably go in there with a normal brush anyway, and just do a dark blue maybe. Let's see. So just add a touch more paint into the pot, and I'll add a little bit more black to it, and we'll come back. So I'm just going to blend this bit here because it was a little bit too opaque for my liking. So you can see a straight stark line there. I'm just going to blend that now with the original cement grey. Just a line either side of it and it's gone, so happy with that. So I can add some black to the cup now, and we'll shade top of the wall on the other bit. I think I've gone a bit heavy on the black, but we'll have a look, see what it's like. And just mix it in the cup. We'll give it a go. It's not that dark, to be honest. We'll go with it. So I think we've got a nice bit of contrast on there now as well, so I'll just leave it at that, I think. So we'll just test the top. Yeah, happy. Oh, I forgot the top of there, didn't I? So let's just add a little bit up the top. So I'm going just underneath the frill. And done. Okay, next up is some weathering the tower. So if you've seen any videos of mine before, you'll know the Holy Trinity weathering. These three, and then I'm going to use odorless thinners to thin it all out. So I'm going to transfer these to an old palette, and we'll come back on it. Okay, here we go. This is just to protect everything and soak up the thinners. I've transferred thinners to the bottle top there. I've got the colours here. I'm going to apply it with an old brush, and I'm going to use the thinners with this one. It's just a regular flat brush. So apply the black to the top, a bit of green towards the bottom, and brown then in between the black. Don't need an awful lot. And I'll streak away. I'll just keep the brush going in the same direction. If you need to add more black, add it. I think I don't want it too heavily weathered, because I want to keep it some semblance of grey there. So I'll try another bit of black. So I want it to be darker up the top, remember. I'm going to change the angle of the brush. I was using a flat, now I'm going to change it to 90 degrees and just try and get streaks in there. And I think we're done with that side. So I'll start again. Black at the top. Green at the bottom. You don't need green at the bottom. You can put green at the top, but it's just a habit of mine. And brown in between the black. Because I do a lot of stuff for Gotham, I always have the green at the bottom for slime and stuff like that. Looks like I've gone a bit heavier on this one, so there's no problem because we'll just keep adding the thinner. Until we're happy. You can probably see now why I use the cardboard to soak everything up. this chakra is like on that side to that side. So it needs a bit more towards the bottom end. Okay. So it's still got browny black on the top from the last time we used it. Let's clean it off a bit. And this one. Okay, so we'll leave that to dry. I'll have a quick look at this. I'm not sure if I want to put much on this one. I'll definitely apply it to the top here. And I'll thin it down with some browny black, and then apply it along there, and we'll remove most of it with thinners. I'm okay putting my thumb on the top because that's where the bike is going to be glued on to. I'm just removing most of it now. Remember the highlights were on the corners, so that's where I'll apply the thinners. See if we can get that highlight back. Just keep going, removing it where you want to, until you're happy, really. Keep on going for a wee bit. That's looking better. Looks a bit heavy there, so I'll remove that. Because you're using thinners and oils, you can keep on doing this for quite a while actually. It takes ages to dry. I'd leave it for about 24 hours to dry fully. Just in case you've got any heavier patches. But after a few hours it'll be dry and workable. So I'm going to leave it there. Come back to it in the morning, see what we've got. Okay, so it's dried quite nicely. Got a nice bit of contrast, nice bit of weathering on it. So what I want to do is lighten the bottom with some pigments now. I use a mixture of pigments, but for these, this one I'm using these two. So we've got green earth and light slate grey, purely for the colours, and just see what they do to the base of the tower. So I'm going to get rid of some of the excess on it just in case, and just apply it to the bottom. Just to lighten it, really. It just gives that extra dusty appearance as well, which I think will be pretty cool. You notice I've done the inside of the windows. I just used dark grey for that. I don't think I'll need the green, so I'll leave that one in my pigment box for next time, maybe. Let's see what it does look like. Slate grey is good. Okay. I'll do the same to the base of the windows. So we've got dark at the top, light at the bottom. So have a quick look at this one. So I'll just add it here and there just to pick out the edges. Apologies for the tractor going past, but they're cutting the grass in the field next door. Right, I think we're done. So to base it, I'm using a 50mm Night Models base. It doesn't fit on it really, but it's just for extra protection for the bottom of the towers. I would have liked to have just used it as it is, but it doesn't really work. So I'm going to clean it. It's been filled with filler. Close the gap off before you put the filler in, otherwise the filler just comes through the slot. So it's just a case of smoothing it off, and I'll just clean it up now with a wet bit of kitchen roll, and we should be ready to glue the tower to the base. The water just shifts the plaster away quite easily as it's an easy job. Let's just dry it off. Just give a nice finish on the edge then. And I'm going to glue using canopy glue. It's like a quick drying PVA. If I can find it. It's just an old weathering brush I had knocking about. It's good for PVA. I'm going to throw it in the bin anyway. But this dries clear, so there's no issues with it going over the edges and onto the base side. But try and keep it in the border. Alright, chuck that in the bin. And try and get it central now. And I shall leave that to dry. And I'll put the top on while we're here. Good thing about this is you can manipulate it for a couple of minutes before you actually leave it to set, just to make sure that it's in the right position. Right, okay, let's leave it dry now. Okay, so the MDF bases have arrived. I've got a few spare for other projects now, so I'll just hang on to them for one side. If you've taken one and just base coated it with a black primer, and it's just a case now transferring it from the original round base here and gluing it onto this one. So I'm just going to apply canopy glue to the base. So quick dry in PVA. Sorry about that, the battery went on the phone. So I'm just going to spread it out a wee bit. Let's wet my finger and get rid of that bit. So that's going to be the edge of the base there. And stick it on, wait for it to dry. Okay, so after the glue's dried, I had to tidy up the edges because some of the plaster had chipped away. So I put the plaster back in, went over it with cement grey and then weathered it with the oils, and it looks okay. So, oh, and of course the black edge of the base as well. So it looks a lot better on a square base than it did on a round one, so I'm happy with that. So that's it for me for now. we shall see you in the next episode, where is the tutorial for the main piece. So I'll see you then. Cheers.